What's good, people? Welcome back to my channel. On today's video, I'm going to share a very important life lesson with you, which is going to help break down the stigma of stereotyping people based on their race and the way they look on their outward appearance. Let's get straight into it. Basically, as I was growing up, I was always taught, or shall I say, I was always told to stick with my own kind, to stick with my own people. And that was based on race and ethnicity and the way I look. I was always told to stick with my own kind. Now, I'm sure a lot of you people have heard that phrase before. Many different cultures, many different societies, even in our communities within this country, you'll hear people in their homes saying to stick with their own kind. Even to this day, this very day, parents are still teaching their children to stick with their own. Even though it's a very shallow and basic way of thinking, there is an element of truth in that. How? So let me explain. Just like the animals, instinctively we know deep down it's better to stick with our own because it breaks down the opportunities and the chances of there being conflict and fights and disagreements and unnecessary drama. Because when you stick with your own kind, you understand each other's culture, you understand each other's language, your banter's the same, your food's the same, and you can mingle with parents. It just makes it a lot easier when you stick with your own kind. However, have you not noticed that even within our own communities, when we do stick with our own kind, you could be at war with your own type of person? Someone who shares the same color skin as you, someone who's from the same background as you can be at war with them. You can have so much conflict, so much disagreement with them. Why? Like I said, it's a very shallow way of thinking. And this is what sets us apart from the animals. We have the free will and the intellect to choose if we want to stick with something that's healthy for us or not. We have the free will and the intellect to make the right decisions. We don't have to just follow along like a herd, like the sheep. Do you understand? Now I want to explain something to you. As I told you, personally, I was always taught to stick with my own kind. I was always told to stick with my own people. But it was very difficult for me, especially the fact that I grew up in a Western society where most people, the majority of people around me, were from a white English background, were from a white English ethnicity. But let me show you something. Take a look at this. Here we have a white man. We have a black man, we have an Asian man, a Chinese man, a European man, and an Arab man. If you think about it logically, is it not the case that sometimes a white man can get along better with a black man than he gets along with his own kind? Is it not the case that sometimes an Asian man gets along better with an Arab man than he gets along with his own kind? It's the same with any way you want to mix them up. Sometimes the case is that a person from one ethnicity gets along with another person from a different ethnicity than he does with his own. Why is that? And I'm going to break that down for you in today's lesson. Let me give you a few examples. So as I said, most people are taught in our homes, even they just develop that own the mindset themselves, where they think they stereotype and they think all Asians are like this, all black people are like this, all white people are like this. Why? Because they've had one or two bad experiences. But you can't stereotype everyone to be like that. Because sometimes you can get along with that person, like someone from that race, better than your own family members and friends. Do you understand? So this is my point I want to make. A lot of us, we stereotype people. We're racist towards an entire race of people because of one or two bad experiences. I want to share something with you which I've learned over the years. I've learned from life experience, but recently I've read it in a book and it's obviously gave me the theory behind it as well now. Book, obviously I'll reference, I'll put the description of the book down below, but I've not completed the book yet, but it's a very important life lesson and it's hit me so hard. Hence the reason why I want to share it with you. Now just bear with me, I'm going to draw something on the board and I'm going to come back and I'm going to explain why we might get along with someone from a different race and why it is that we shouldn't judge people based on their colour and their race. Oh, let me just sidetrack for a minute. Let's take something from the Islamic teachings. God, he doesn't judge us based on the colour of our skin and the way we behave and the way we act. He judges us based on our intention. Now, this is the thing. As human beings, we can't read people's mind. We can't read people's heart, what's going on the inside. But this is what's remarkable, because there's cues and there's signs to indicate what type of person they are, the way they think. Are they a pessimist? Are they optimistic? What type of person are they? Are they money motivated? Are they family orientated? There's cues to indicate what type of person they are. And that's what we're supposed to pick up on. That's what we're supposed to judge. Not judge a person by the colour of their skin and the way they look. Because I'll be honest, I might be at war with someone from my own race, but someone who looks completely different to me, I might get along like a house on fire. So let me get to the board. I'm going to just draw something, and then I'm going to come back and explain it to you. Right guys, you're going to have to excuse my terrible drawing, but basically I'm trying to demonstrate the different types of people. You know what I've learned recently? Well, I've learned over the years with life experience, but I never put two and two together until I read it recently in a book. You see, people have different centers of thinking. So the way they think and the way they base their decisions and the way they base their thoughts is on a center, on a principle. You might get a person whose center is money. All they think about is money. Everything they think about is based on money. For example, all he's thinking about is how to pay the bills, how to make the next £1,000, how to upgrade their life, and how to buy this, how to buy that. And it's not always a selfish thing. Sometimes they think in that sense for their family. How can they get certain things for their wife? How can they get things for their children? But their main center, the decisions that they make is based on money. The next one we have is someone who is family orientated. Every decision and every thought that they have is for the sake of their family. Okay? The next person, that's supposed to be a camera. This person, all they're bothered about is their reputation and their image in the community, how they looked in front of other people. The next person, their main thought process and their decision making is based on emotions, how they feel. Do they feel like doing this or not? Do they feel like they're in the mood for this or not? They're always based on their emotion. The next person, their center is based on God and worship and, like the afterlife. And finally, the last one I have here is a person who's based on logics and makes logical decisions. Now I'm going to give you a few examples here. Sometimes you'll find that a person who is money motivated, they will make decisions and they will think and they will say things at the cost of their family being hurt. So all they're focused on is making more money, running a business and giving their heart and soul to that business, or working for a company and they just give their all to this company, working overtime all day, all night, but at the expense of their family. When their family just wants a bit of time with them, they're saying, oh, well, I need to earn this much money so I can buy you this and I can buy you that. All they're focused on is money. The next person, they're family orientated. Now, you might think that's a good thing. Of course it is at times. However, sometimes if you're just all family orientated, you might not even think about how to pay the bills. You might not even do what's necessary and relevant. You might not give yourself a kick up the backside to do what's necessary to earn the money. And you might do that at the expense of, for example, feelings. You might push your feelings aside for the sake of your family. But over time, that will build up and you might become mentally exhausted. You might be completely depressed because you've not put your own feelings aside. You understand? You have to give yourself that respect too. The other person who's based on fame or reputation and their honor, they will do it at the cost of anything as well. They will be a hypocrite to their religion at times because they want to look good in front of the community, so they want to put this image on. They'll do it at the expense of their family. They'll do it at the expense of money. They will portray themselves in a certain way just so people think of them as a good thing. Next one is a very dangerous one. Being based on emotions is a very, very basic way of reacting and thinking, because you don't think about the repercussions. You only think about the here and now. Do you feel like getting out of bed this morning? Do you feel like going cleaning your your dishes. You always do everything based on your feelings. So it'll be at the cost of time. It'll be at the cost of your feelings, your honor, your respect, the way you present yourself as a human being, as a Muslim or whatever you want to think of. It'll be at the expense of everything. But like I said, it's always based on your feelings. And then you have someone who's focused on God. Now, I'm a practicing Muslim, so I'll say that's probably one of the best places to be, because you're constantly thinking about your afterlife. You're constantly thinking about God. So religiously, I'd say that's probably the best place to be. Your main focus and your priority is God. And when you live a God-fearing life, you're usually a humble and content person, and you're quite easy to approach. However, in some cases, which I've seen with my own eyes, some people that are purely focused on God, they'll do it at the expense of their family, at the expense of working, at the expense of thinking logically. There's supposed to be a balance, which I'm going to come to in a minute. Finally, we have the logical person. Personally, I'd say that's my favourite. However, even me as myself, I can't even be in this state all the time because sometimes I'm flickering here, I'm flickering here. Now, I'll tell you something. What helps is to have a good balance between all of them. It's possible. It's realistic to be in and out of all of them. But usually everyone has a default setting. They have a setting, they have one of these mentalities which is their default, the one that they go back to usually. For example, I'll give you my personal example. Usually I try to be in the logical state and the God-fearing state. However, occasionally I slip into this state, the emotional state. I might get depressed. I might get angry. I might get frustrated. So I slip into this. Sometimes I slip into this one where I feel like my honor is on the line. I feel embarrassed in front of people if I don't look presentable, for example, or if my breath stinks and I'm going out in front of people in public. So I might think about my image. I'm family orientated at times. I'm flicking into this state where I'm thinking about the future of my child and how to raise it. Sometimes if money isn't the greatest or I've got a big bill or debt to clear off, I'm in the money mindset. Do you understand? So it's healthy to flick in and out of all of them. Sometimes we unintentionally do it and sometimes we intentionally do it. However, what I'm trying to get at here is your default setting. You need to question what your default setting is. Which one are you in? Because have you not noticed that sometimes a logical person can be in business or in partnership, or you can work alongside, let's say, for example, your boss at work, or you've got a partner that you're teamed up with. If you're a logical person, but they're all about their emotions, is it not true that you will clash at times? Because you've got a way of thinking and this person's got another way of thinking. When you've got two different ways of thinking, you will completely clash. Yeah, you might find some solutions and answers together. However, there's going to be a lot of times where you clash, unless you come to some sort of agreement. Now, this is what I'm trying to get at. The best place to be is here, between God-fearing and logical. Because when you're logical, you think of things, you think ahead. So you think, if I say this or if I do this, the repercussion and the domino effect is going to be this. You think ahead a little bit. But the emotional person doesn't do that. They just deal with the here and now. The person who's in the image state, where they just think about their reputation, they don't do that. The person who's just thinking about family oriented, they don't do that. They don't think ahead. This person's going to think about their honor, so it triggers emotions like their ego. It triggers emotions like negative emotion. This person might be experiencing more positive emotions, the family orientated one. They might experience more positive feelings and more positive actions. However, it makes them oblivious and naive to other elements which are important. There's a balance to life, and you need to find that. You need to find your balance in order to thrive, in order to become successful in whatever you're trying to accomplish. Do you understand? So this is what I'm saying. Being logical really does help. As a practicing Muslim, I've come across Islamic texts where God's told us through the Prophet ﷺ that we should not speak when we're in a highly emotional state, whether we're very angry, whether we're very sad, or on the polar opposite, it could be when you're very happy or very excited. We're not supposed to speak or act in them moments, because sometimes you say things in the heat of the moment, and that's exactly what it is. It's the heat of the moment. Heat of the moment means it's a temporary moment, it's a temporary time. It's not permanent. It's not how you feel on the regs, how you feel every day, how you are in general, your default setting. It's the heat of the moment. We're taught not to act in these moments. We're taught to think ahead. We are taught, Islamically, we're told to think deeply. Thinking deeply means you're using your mind. You're being logical. You're using your conscience to think ahead. Not sat there dwelling on your emotions. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean that a logical person isn't emotional? No, of course not. Of course he has emotions. Does that mean a God-fearing person isn't emotional? No, of course not. He has emotions. Both of these have emotions, just like the family-orientated person, money-motivated person, and the person who's focused on their image. However, these people, they're only accessing selective emotions. This person on the emotional state is open to all emotions. It doesn't matter if the moment and the occasion is appropriate and right or not. They're just embracing any emotion as it goes along. But these two people, the God-fearing man and the man who's logical, he will think if it's appropriate to embrace the emotions in that moment or not. For example, if your boss is having a go at you and you can feel your emotions triggering and you're getting angry. You're getting angry inside because your boss is speaking to you in a certain way. A logical person understands that if he reacts and retaliates, he might potentially lose his job or he might be punished. So he will discipline his emotions temporarily until the moment has subsided. Do you understand? And this is what I'm trying to get at. A logical person knows how to control their emotions. They know if it's appropriate to show them or not. So you need to question yourself. What is your default setting? Because every single one of us, we can be in and out of all of these states. But it's our default setting which is important. I've had different default settings over the years. But I try my best to stay at the better end, the higher end. But it's difficult. So my point I'm trying to make to you guys is don't judge someone based on the colour of their skin. Don't stereotype an entire race of people and say that they're all like this. I've had people recently even say, oh yeah, this car is absolutely is so bad, it's got bad reviews, it's bad this, it's bad that. See, as human beings, it's like we've become addicted to negativity. We're always looking for bad reviews. We're looking for what people say negatively about an object or a person or a movie or whatever. Well, have you become a society that's just addicted to negativity or something? People will say that, oh yeah, all Vauxhall Astras are terrible, blah, 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 because of this, that and the other, X, Y and Z. But then you might get a few people that have a good experience with it. It all depends on how you treat the vehicle, how you treat the car, how the previous owners have been with the car. Do you understand? Everyone and everything is different. You can't base an entire race, an entire population of people based on one or two bad experiences with an individual from that race. Everyone's different. And you need to start looking beneath the surface. Look beneath people's mask. Try and analyze the way they think. What is their center of thinking, their center of decision making? Are they money motivated, family orientated? They're just bothered about their image in society? Are they based on their emotions? Are they God-fearing? Or are they logical? Like I said, we're in and out of different ones. But try and find the right balance, or try and set a good default setting. I would recommend these two at the top end. But even when you're at these two, don't forget the others. You need to find your balance. I hope this video has been beneficial, guys. I know I've not done a video like this for a while, so I'll try and come back and start doing a few lessons here and there again. But thank you for watching. As always, subscribe to my channel, show some support, show some love, leave a thumbs up. And until next time, peace out.